With all the hoopla going on about WordPress and WP Engine, I've been getting a lot of questions about should I leave WordPress? Am I going to stay with WordPress? If I didn't use WordPress, what would I use instead? I want to answer all of those questions, but I also want to tell you where I'm coming from with all of this. I used to host all of my websites over on Flywheel, and I moved them from Flywheel over to SiteGround. I think it's like maybe February of this year, so like 7 or 8 months ago, whatever. But I didn't move from Flywheel to SiteGround because I didn't like Flywheel. I had a great experience with Flywheel. I was over there for felt like a decade, like a long time, 7, 8, 10 years, whatever. I had my sites over there a long time, never had any problems, great experience. The only reason that I moved from Flywheel over to SiteGround was I moved the Double Stack and Blue Theory communities out of WordPress into this platform called Circle. I was running both of the programs and everything through WordPress itself. I was using Restrict Content Pro and all that stuff to kind of have a online community in WordPress. And then I just moved it over to Circle to make it more dynamic and everything. Like, that's a whole platform just for communities. So once I did that, I thought, well, now my website's really just a blog. It's not like people are logging in every day, learning things and interacting in a community. So I don't really need all the power that comes with Flywheel. So I'll just move over to SiteGround because now it's more like just a local business website. And I've had a great experience at SiteGround. So I'll put a link in the description too to the package that I'm using. It's the Go Geek package over on SiteGround. The first year is like $60 for the whole year. It's like $5 a month or whatever. And then after that, it kind of goes up to something like $45 a month. But I've got about 20 websites over on SiteGround right now. And even at the $45 per month thing, that's only like $2.50 per site. And I felt like that was, and the performance, there's some stuff about SiteGround that I like even better than Flywheel, because I kind of nerd out on being able to interact with the database and stuff. And anyway, I really like SiteGround. I really liked Flywheel. So I like all that stuff, but I also really like Matt. I met Matt twice met him in San Francisco, and then we met up again in Austin, Texas at I think it's WooConf. And I remember because I was presenting at the WooConf in Austin, Texas, and I got into the auditorium a little early. I don't know, it's like sound checks or whatever. So like I'm in the auditorium before everybody else is. And so I'm just kind of standing there with my friend Joey, and he and I are just talking, and Matt Mullenweg comes over to us. Like, we didn't even go over to him. He came to us, and he just starts talking to us like just a normal person. Like, here's a guy that like wrote the software, built the software, whatever, that runs like half the internet, and he's like walking over to me. And I remember the conversation too. We talked about, WordPress and everything for a minute, and then we started talking about running. Like, he was kind of into long distance running, and I was kind of doing it too, and so we kind of related on that. And he was just like really nice to me, and it was great. It's really cool to see that. Plus, I really appreciate all that he's done for open source and giving more people access to WordPress and even PHP encoding, and just what a huge thing. Like, more people are coding, more people are doing web design, more people are publishing their thoughts and sharing things with everybody. It's running like half the internet. It's like, that's a massive contribution. And it's coming from a guy that's so relatable. Like, he just walked up to us and just started hanging out with us. We probably talked for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Like it was more than just, hey, how are you doing? We had like an actual conversation. I really liked it. So anyway, I really like Matt, really like Flywheel. I don't know anything about the management or the people at WP Engine, but the thing that I don't like is I don't like that, web designers like you and me are sort of caught in the crossfire right now, where maybe you can't update your plugins and themes like you need to over on the WP Engine stuff. But I feel like that's got to get resolved at some point. But anyway, what about WordPress? And am I going to stay with WordPress, or should you stay? Well, I've got 3 major things that I like a lot about WordPress, and I wanted to share these with you because I feel like they're different from what I've been hearing a lot about online. And it might be because I use WordPress a little bit differently. I kind of come at it a little bit from more of a developer perspective as opposed to a designer. But one of the things I really like about WordPress that I don't feel like I can get anywhere else is that the distributed nature of hosting WordPress websites. So like, I can install a WordPress site right here on my laptop. Got this app. Do you ever use Local by Flywheel? And it's like a little local WordPress development environment. So if I'm like writing a plugin or like adding a little, adding some PHP code to hook into Gravity Forms or something, which I'll tell you about here in a second, I can just kind of open up my terminal, tail the error log, and if anything bad happens, I can kind of see it there. And like, I'm just kind of working locally on, it's not really an app, but I feel like I'm developing something. Whereas if I was trying to build remotely, like on Duda or Wix or Squarespace or something like that, it's like, I can't really interact with it in the same way that I can if it's local on my laptop. So I really like that. And that gives me the power to break stuff if I need to, Like if I'm writing some code and it doesn't work, it just takes down my local website. It's not like crashing anything online or bothering anybody else. So that gives me the freedom to like write code. Maybe the code doesn't work quite right the first time, and then I can edit it and get it all polished up. And then once it works for me, I can then go use it on my site. And I don't have to submit it to a plugin repository or get it approved by anybody or any of that other stuff, because it's just a private plugin just for me. And I think that's really, really valuable. And not only can you sort of like do that work, but that opens up the world to me. So for example, I just wrote this quiz. I'm using Gravity Forms, and I developed a quiz to help you pick your niche. Like one of the most popular questions I ever get asked is, what should my niche, how do I target my ideal audience? And it's a really challenging question that can get you stuck because you have all of these different opportunities. And so I made a quiz so that you can just answer, I think it's like 6 or 7 questions, and they're all multiple choice, and you just pick the answer, and then it automatically slides. Like one of the things I wrote the code for was I wrote a little JavaScript snippet that will it automatically advance the form one question. I'm using the conversational forms add-on for Gravity Forms. So it's already showing one question at a time, but by default, you like pick an answer and then hit next. And I wanted to just pick the answer, since all the questions are multiple choice. Just as soon as you make one of those radio button selections, it just advances the form to the next question, so you don't have to hit next all the time. And so I just wrote a little snippet of code, did that thing, and I don't think you can't do that on Typeform or something like that. Like you can't like make code change the way things work unless you can actually add some code into your own local environment. That's really cool about WordPress. But the other thing that's cool is not only can you change the features, you can change the whole building environment. So like if you're going to use Wix, you just build websites the way Wix builds websites. But if you're on WordPress, maybe you want to use Gutenberg and the blocks, and you pick a theme like Cadence where it's all Gutenberg block based. Or like I've been using Beaver Builder, and I feel like I can build sites really fast. I'm familiar with it. Beaver Builder's got this new pricing plan out right now that I'm so happy and excited about. It's $89 for a single site license, and it gives you the Beaver Builder theme, the Beaver Builder plugin for like drag and drop stuff, and Beaver Themer, which is like their whole suite of stuff in one thing for $89 for one site, so you can try it out. So I think that's really cool. It used to be like $400 to buy all that stuff because they only would sell unlimited licenses. So anyway, if you're interested in Beaver Builder, check that out. But I really like the fact that it's been around a long time and they're doing fresh new stuff. So it's like the stability of age, but also the freshness of new stuff. Anyway, I'm really a big Beaver Builder fan. But if you don't like Beaver Builder, use Elementor or Divi, or there's so many different options, like whatever you want. And like you can't do that anything else. You can't change the building environment in other platforms. It's like you get what you get and that's it. And so I think that's awesome about WordPress, where not only can you add features through plugins or your own code, but you can also just change the whole building environment to suit your needs. So that's really cool. And then the last component of it is, it's not just that I can add snippets of code, but one of the things that I focus on the most is little utilities that I can add for local business stuff. Like I might make digital business cards. I've got this Google review app that I give to some of my clients and stuff, and I treat them like little apps. And what I've done is I wrote a little plugin that will turn an individual page of a WordPress site into a mobile app that you actually click install, and you get the icon on your phone screen. And then when you open it up from that icon, it doesn't say this is a bookmark Safari page or something. It actually says the name of the app. So it really feels like an app, but it's not in the App Store, so you don't have to like fiddle with the App Store stuff. It's really just a WordPress page, but the plugin that I created turns the page into an app. All I'm doing is I just add a web manifest XML file to the page, and that controls like the icon, and it makes the little install thing pop up, and it feels like an app. It feels appy. And so that's really cool. So I really like all of that. And then you think, well, what would I do if I didn't use WordPress? Like, what would be my next best choice? And there's a lot of great options. So Wix, Squarespace, Webflow, all of those are great. If I were picking one, I'd probably pick Duda. Do you ever go to duda.co? That's probably the platform that I would use. I know it's really great for SEO, and there's a lot of double stackers that actually use Duda, so I'm kind of familiar with it, even though I don't personally use it. For clients and stuff, I've kind of been in there and looked around. And I really like it. It's got a ton of great features, but none of the things that we talked about, like you can't like build a Duda site on your laptop or write your own code and debug it locally or anything like that. But at the same time, it's got a lot of great features. And so if I was going to build like that niche quiz, like we just talked about on Duda, well, I couldn't use Gravity Forms. I'd probably have to use Typekit. And I would have to probably get the $99 per month business level account over there, just because of the number of submissions that I'm going to get. I would have to probably be in that level. So that's $100 a month just for that one thing. And then Typekit doesn't integrate in with MailerLite. So the way my niche quiz works is you fill out the questions about your experience and things like that. And then the last question is your email address, and you type your email address, and then I email you the results based on the way that you answered the questions. And so I use MailerLite to send those emails. And so, by the way, if you take the quiz, like if you go through and do the quiz, click reply when I send you the results, and let me know if you feel like the results matched your experience. Like if you felt like the niche that I recommend kind of fits with what you want to do. And if it doesn't, let me know that so I can help kind of dial in the quiz. I'm getting really great feedback so far. People are like, wow, this is really helpful. So I'm excited so far. If you get a chance to check it out, just click reply to that email and let me know. But if I was using Duda, I would have to probably use, Typekit doesn't connect to MailerLite, so I'd probably have to use Zapier. So now I'm another $30 into the $30 per month into the mix for Zapier, and the website itself, I think Duda sites start at $12.50 per month, and I'm basically paying like $2.50 per month over on SiteGround based on I think I have about 20 sites over on the Go Geek plan, and so it's like probably $10 per month more for Duda sites. So like when you add all of that up, that's like $140 per month more to get roughly the same functionality that I'm getting basically for free. It's not $140 total, it's $140 per month more than what I'm paying for what I'm already doing on WordPress. And okay, $140, that's not the end of the world, but it adds up. It's over $1,600 a year. It was like $1,680 per year. And then if I added all of that up to all the 20 sites that I've got over on SiteGround, so 1,680 times 20 sites, now you're over like $33,000. That's so it stacks up. It's a lot of money over there. It adds up as you get more clients and everything. So I'm not saying that you can't do things in any other way except for WordPress, but I am saying that it's really nice to be able to have the freedom to do all the stuff that I was just describing, and at that low cost compared to what it would be like if you had to buy proprietary systems for all that stuff. So anyway, end of the day, try the niche quiz if you want to see how a Gravity Forms quiz works, where you poke answers and then get some results, and click reply and let me know if you feel like the results are good for you. Number two, I'm going to put a link down below in the description. I wrote this song called WordPress is Still For Me. It's like this really nerdy song about how much I like WordPress, so you might want to check that out. And then if you're wondering, well, how do I get the value of my local websites, like local business websites, up to $10,000 per year or more, check out this video. I made a video just about how I elevate the value of local business web design, or you can click this square up here and take the quiz. Either way, I'll see you in a minute.